Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Construction wall erected in busy STABROEK shopping area. Vendors say they were not informed, forced to relocate. Vendors will not be displaced, says the local government ministry. Mayor says the project caught him off guard. RDC chairpersons and vice chairpersons take the oath of office. License suspension looms for drivers with unpaid speeding tickets. And in sport, GCB announces squad and fixtures for 2025 Senior Women's Inter-County Tourney. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Thursday, November 27 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. Construction barriers erected in the heart of the STABROEK Market Square, a commercial zone, have triggered frustration among scores of vendors, many of whom say they were blindsided by the move. Here's more. Vendors who operate daily at STABROEK Market Square say they are deeply upset with the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, accusing officials of failing to notify them that construction walls would be installed as part of an ongoing beautification initiative. They argue that the sudden placement of the wall has directly affected their ability to earn a living, and several expressed disappointment over what they describe as poor communication from the ministry.
We were not informed by no government minister, the constable. Nobody told us anything that we got to move from here. Nobody told us that we got to move from here or nothing. They just come and they just operate this morning.
One vendor told Nightly News that the construction work began just before midnight on Wednesday, leaving them little to no time to prepare. According to vendors, while they were previously told that upgrades were planned for the area, no specific timeline was shared, nor were they advised when they would be required to move.
Every week I pay me revenue. These people don't even give you no notice, nothing. The people just come just up and start blocking off for the morning.
The erection of the walls has now pushed many of them to relocate abruptly, a significant setback at a time when they have already invested heavily in stock for the Christmas season.
At least whatever they got to do, January they could do it. They can't do it now. People invest a lot of money to do the business out here. And it's not fair to people invest now Christmas time. You didn't even notify people that, well, this thing had happened that people won't invest the money. You just come and fence a place like the prison people in.
Several vendors fear that the disruption will severely impact their business during the busiest period of the year. They are calling on the authorities to pause the project and implement proper relocation measures before any further works proceed. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, even as the mayor of Georgetown says the timing of the project caught him off guard, the Ministry of Local Government insists that no vendor will be displaced. As the ministry pushes ahead with its planned beautification works at the STABROEK Market Square, Georgetown Mayor Alfred Mentor told reporters he was taken by surprise, claiming that he was not informed that the initiative would affect the vendors operating there.
The activity here itself, I only learned about it this morning. What I'm saying to you is that the concept was discussed with us at a meeting we had at Central Housing and Planning concerning the beautification of this venue and the placing of a Christmas tree. That concept was discussed with us last week. The actual implementation and the putting it into being is not one that we could have had an interface with the vendors to be able to have this in place. What I did learn about this is that it took me by surprise.
The mayor explained that while he was told about plans to erect a Christmas tree in the area, he received no indication that the works would extend to a scale that disrupts vendors. In the absence of proper engagement and adequate notice, he warned he may be left with no choice but to intervene and halt the project.
And if it's it that this development has to be suspended, we will have to do so, because I'm a bit concerned as persons coming in the middle of the night. I'm putting up this here without the town clerk or the council themselves, educating the persons and giving them notice to let them know how they will be accommodated and so on and so forth.
However, Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, Dr. Josh Kanai, maintained that no vendor will be displaced.
The vendors are not to be displaced. The vendors are not to be hampered. These boards that are going upward to basically align the fence structure, which is merely about 3 to 3.5 feet tall. That's going to form a fence in this perimeter here, whereby it'll be a transparent fence where the vendors can be seen. Vendors are going to be within selling.
The ministry further contends that during earlier engagement held at the STABROEK Market Square, the overall concept of the project was publicly outlined.
The Ministry of Local Government would have been out here a few weeks back, and we would have launched the Way Forward campaign, whereby we would put down bins and we have the trucks emptying those bins twice a day at the STABROEK Square and the immediate environments of STABROEK. Following up to that, the beautification process, which was being heralded in the media, took place, and as we see, that process has started.
According to the ministry, beautification works are expected to be completed within 2 weeks. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. I am prepared to see what eventuates before I consider legal action, says opposition-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander, whose services were terminated by Chair of the Ghana Elections Commission, Justice Retired Claudette Singh. Antonio Day has more.
The services of opposition-nominated Commissioners Vincent Alexander, Desmond Trotman, Charles Corbin unceremoniously ended following a recent letter by Justice Retired Claudette Singh, who contends that the commission is not properly constituted. Alexander, when asked if he's going to legally challenge the matter, gives this response.
I recognize that this matter partly has its origin in WIN calling for the commissioners to be replaced so that they can determine who the commissioners are.
Alexander, who served as a GECOM commissioner for over 18 years, said that the election body's chairperson's interpretation of the law is erroneous and deeply flawed, as she failed to follow procedures regarding her unilateral decommissioning of an independent entity. The former commissioner took the time to set the record straight.
But in this circumstance, I am prepared to see what eventuates. Because we seem to have a stalemate since Parliament has met. And two things, the matter has not been raised in any way, one, and the leader of the opposition has not been appointed.
Alexander contended that the chair was not involved in crafting the legal provisions governing GECOM's appointments. In essence, he argued that her actions were legally unsound. When asked about his financial entitlements following the termination, Alexander gave this response.
Interestingly, to date it has not been affected. So that all of that has been kind of in a conundrum, because on one hand, she refuses to recognize us as commissioners for the purpose of the work of the commission. But on the other hand, the salary has not been affected.
Alexander said he found it unprofessional for the GECOM chair to make such unilateral decisions without convening a statutory meeting. According to Alexander, Justice Singh, in her defense, noted that her reliance on interpretation of Article 1613B of the Constitution, which notes that 3 members to be appointed by the President, acting in accordance with the advice of the Leader of the Opposition, tendered after meaningful consultation with the non-governmental political parties represented in the National Assembly. Alexander confirmed that as it stands now, himself and other opposition commissioners remain inactive at GECOM. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. 9 regional chairpersons and vice chairpersons took the oath of office before Head of State Irfan Ali at the Arthur Chung Conference Center on Thursday. Antonio Day will tell you more.
Head of State Irfan Ali on Thursday administered the oath of office to 9 regional chairpersons and 4 vice chairpersons at the Arthur Chung Conference Center. Following the swearing-in, President Ali implored the newly sworn-in regional representatives to not make excuses, but to rather devise solutions to adequately serve communities.
A nation of vastness, geographically expansive, culturally diverse. The people of Guyana have given you a mandate to build, not to divide, to deliver, not to stall progress.
In reminding the appointed chairpersons and vice chairpersons that they are duty-bound to serve their respective communities, President Ali underscored the importance of service before self.
Let your tenure be one defined by action, humility, accessibility, and measurable results.
The head of state reminded that his administration is committed to improving and developing communities in alignment with the People's Progressive Party Civic Manifesto. The regional chairpersons include Bretnell Ashley, Devin Mohan, Sheikh Ayub, Clemsford Belgrave, June Gittins, Paul Pierre, Amis Audit, Samantha John, and Angie Narang. 9 vice chairs for the respective regions also took the oath of office. The chair and vice chairs were also sworn in as justices of peace by the Chief Magistrate, Judy Latchman. Meanwhile, Region 10's representatives missed Thursday's swearing-in ceremony as the stalemate to electing the 2 representatives continue. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the We Invest in Nationhood Regional Democratic councillors did not take the oath of office during Thursday's ceremony, and presumptive chair Mark Gorin believes President Irfan Ali should be grilled as to why the process in Region 10 has not been completed. Marvin Cato reports.
No update on Region 10. We got to grill the president on why the delay on Region 10.
That was Mark Gorin, presumptive chairman of Region 10, who was expected to be sworn in after his party won the region.
We protest, all the different stuff.
Gorin indicated that there is a delay with the legal aspect of the proceedings. However, efforts to get the matter resolved has landed on deaf ears.
The last thing was the lawyer that was a little busy to deal with the court case. The party got to deal with that.
Gorin indicated that it is disappointing that regional chairpersons and vice chairpersons from 9 of the 10 administrative regions were sworn in on Thursday, with representatives from the mining town notably absent. He lays the blame squarely at the feet of the government, since there has been no announcement by the regional executive officer to restart the process.
Yeah, so we're still waiting for Region 10 meeting conclude. We scheduled to conclude the process of the election because it already started. It means that it has to go 2 more rounds.
On Thursday afternoon, President Irfan Ali swore in representatives from 9 regional democratic councils, with the exception of Region 10. Meanwhile, when asked about when this process is likely to conclude, President Ali on the sidelines on Thursday swearing in told the media that certain procedures must be followed.
I'm sure that within the ambit of the Constitution and within the ambit of the rules governing the elections, that the chair and vice chair of Region 10 will be sworn in and at the appropriate time when they conclude their elections.
Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
President Irfan Ali has issued a strong warning that drivers who fail to pay their outstanding automated speeding tickets could have their licenses suspended within 48 hours. Tiana Cole will tell you more.
Since the rollout of the automated speed ticketing initiative on April 7, 2025, more than 42,000 tickets have been issued, according to President Irfan Ali. Speaking at a reception hosted at the residence of the British High Commissioner on Wednesday evening, he said nearly 10,000 persons have already paid their fines, and in coming days, the name of top offenders and their outstanding amounts will be published in the newspapers.
And I use this forum to calmly appeal to those who have outstanding payments to do so within the next 48 hours, or their license will be suspended.
The head of state added that systems being implemented by the government must deliver the results they were designed to achieve.
Our police cars and police ranks will be equipped with smart meters and smart cars before the end of this year, so that electronically everything will be recorded and stored, removing that human interface and allowing technology to help people to do better.
This state-of-the-art system, powered by advanced speed cameras and radar speed signs connected to cloud-based infrastructure, is designed to detect and ticket speeding violations automatically, ensuring seamless and fair enforcement of traffic laws. The initiative forms part of the Safe Road Intelligence System (SRIS) project, a partnership between the Ghana Police Force and the National Data Management Authority (NDMA). New radar speed signs and cameras have been installed nationwide to monitor traffic patterns and vehicular speeds. The automated cameras will identify vehicles exceeding the speed limit and generate tickets without manual processing. Drivers with updated contact information registered with the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) will receive notices via SMS or email, while others will receive physical tickets delivered to their address. Data gathered through the SRIS will support the development of targeted strategies to reduce speeding and improve road safety. The deployment of these technologies highlights the government's commitment to innovation and data-driven solutions in enhancing traffic management across the country. Tian Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana. Stay with us. There is more news ahead. This is the HGP Nightly News. Thanks for staying with us. Sharma Solomon, a partnership for National Unity's Shadow Minister of Public Service and Natural Resources, has criticized the government over the goldfield crisis at Aurora. Sharma asserts that workers' safety is compromised while their concerns remain unaddressed. Antonio Day will tell you more.
The recent incident at Shishing's mining Aurora goldfield, in which a visibly frustrated employee confronted a manager regarding the prolonged absence of essential underground safety equipment, should not be regarded as an isolated occurrence, said Sharma Solomon, Shadow Minister of Public Service and Natural Resources. In a recent press statement, the Member of Parliament for a Partnership for National Unity highlighted a troubling and persistent pattern of abuse, exploitation, and neglect of workers in the gold mining sector, particularly under operations previously managed by Ghana Goldfields and currently overseen by Shishing Mining. He said that effective measures must be implemented to prevent such occurrences. Workers have raised serious concerns about unsafe tunnel conditions, chronic shortages of personal protective equipment, severe health issues, and incidents of bullying. According to the Region 10 MP, government engagement has been sporadic and largely reactive, addressing issues only after public outcry. He said this has left workers feeling vulnerable and unheard. He reminded that the mining workforce is crucial to the multi-billion-dollar industry in Guyana and deserves more than reactive investigations and improved representation and consistent support. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Day 47 of the election fraud trial was marked by intense legal arguments on Thursday as the defense challenged the admissibility of key spreadsheet evidence prepared by a prosecution witness. Tiana Cole will tell you more.
Day 47 of the election fraud trial continued on Thursday before Acting Chief Magistrate Faith McGusty in a Georgetown Magistrates Court. Prosecution witness Bibi Anisha Mohammed returned to the stand to give additional evidence, testifying about creating spreadsheets that she later submitted to police when given her statement on August 24, 2020. When the prosecution attempted to tender the spreadsheets into evidence, defense attorney Nigel Hughes objected. He argued that Mohammed was effectively presenting documents she created using a spreadsheet program without being qualified as an expert. He stressed that a court must first determine her expertise before the documents can be admitted. The prosecution responded that Mohammed extracted the information directly from GECOM website when the data was publicly posted, noting that the posts were later removed. Hughes countered that relying on information no longer available on GECOM's website is problematic, since the original evidence cannot be reviewed or challenged. He argued that the defense is disadvantaged by having only Mohammed's word that the data was accurate. Hughes further explained that spreadsheets are tools that generate results based on formulas entered by the creator. Without knowing what formulas Mohammed used, he said the defense cannot properly cross-examine or test the validity of the results. He told the court that to accept the spreadsheets as evidence, Mohammed must first be determined an expert, especially since there is no evidence of what data or formulas she used to produce the results. The prosecution then argued that the statements of pool SOPs will later be produced to support Mohammed's documents. Hughes maintained that even so, the spreadsheets remain inadmissible, until the necessary foundation is established, noting that the defense cannot compare SOPs to spreadsheets that are not yet properly before the court. Prosecutor Thomas Astephen, King's counsel, added that a handwriting expert will testify regarding the signatures on the SOPs. After hearing both sides, the court proceeded to a voir dire to determine whether Mohammed qualifies as an expert. She was questioned extensively on the cross-examination by Hughes. The matter will continue on November 28, 2025. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP 930 News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening and welcome to Thursday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. We begin with news in Trinidad and Tobago. An East Trinidad man has been sentenced to 12 months imprisonment with hard labor after a jury found him guilty of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm stemming from an attack on a woman inside his home last year. Justice Nalini Singh imposed a sentence on David Parai last week after the court accepted that he assaulted the woman, who was made and in a vulnerable state moments after she exited a shower at his residence. The incident occurred in the early hours of May 12, 2024. The evidence showed that Parai and the woman had been socializing and consuming alcohol before returning to his home. A jury rejected Parai's account and convicted him of assault, occasioning actual bodily harm. He was acquitted of the more serious charges of rape, grievous sexual assault, and kidnapping, and Justice Singh's sentence reflected only the offense for which he was found guilty. Over to news in Haiti. After consulting with interagency partners, Secretary Christy Noem concluded that Haiti no longer meets the statutory requirements for TPS, the agency said in a posting. This decision was based on a review conducted by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, input from relevant U.S. government agencies, and an analysis indicating that allowing Haitian nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is inconsistent with U.S. national interests. The decision, effective February 3, 2026, affects up to more than 500,000 Haitians. They now face returning to a country plagued by criminal gangs that control all major roads into the capital, Port-au-Prince, and that for months have been spreading their violence into rural regions. With an estimated 2.7 million Haitians living in the capital in gang-controlled neighborhoods, more than 1.4 million are internally displaced according to the United Nations. Quoting, "If you are an alien who is currently a beneficiary of TPS for Haiti, you should prepare to depart if you have no other lawful basis for remaining in the United States," the statement read. And finally, with international news, the confirmed toll from Hong Kong's deadliest fire in decades rose to at least 65 people, with many more still missing. Firefighters rescued a survivor from the 16th story of a high-rise building a day after the blaze broke out. Hong Kong's leader says fires are basically under control in the complex, home to a high percentage of elderly residents. Rescuers are still searching for the many missing residents. Thank you for watching. I'm Antonio Day. Goodbye for now and have an enjoyable evening.
Let's join Delvin Neblet for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblet with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Thursday, November 27, 2025. We begin tonight with football. The Fruta Conquerors FC secured a solid 2-0 victory over Anns Grove United on Tuesday as action continued in the 2025 Ghana Football Federation Division 1 Women's League at the National Training Center in Providence. The first half was keenly contested as both sides remained scoreless heading into the second period. Shamaya Hing would then break the deadlock after making the most of an accurate cross from the right wing, as Karen Jupiter also scored once in a winning effort. More in football on Wednesday at the Ghana Football Federation's headquarters. The GFF Technical Director, Lady Jags head coach, and Lady Jags players met with the media to share final updates ahead of Ghana's CONCACAF Women's Qualifiers clash versus Nicaragua at the National Track and Field Center in Lenora on December 1st. The team spoke confidently about their preparations, home support, and their determination to make Guyana proud.
The sisterhood in the camp has been great. Everyone is bonding really well, and we're looking forward to you guys coming out and support on December 1st.
Moving into squash, according to the Department of Public Information on Wednesday, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali at the Royal International Hotel in Georgetown used the official opening of the 2025 Caribbean Area Squash Association Senior Team Championships to announce a US $25,000 pledge to help Jamaica recover from the effects of Hurricane Melissa, while also reinforcing his position to stand with the island as it rebuilds. Action in the tournament is expected to intensify at the National Racquet Center on Thomas Lands as Team Ghana seeks a 5th consecutive title on home soil. On Tuesday, Ghana secured its only medal in the individual championships via former women's champion Ashley Khalil, who secured a 3rd place finish behind the Barbadian duo of Margot Prow and reigning champion Megan Best. Into cricket, the Ghana Cricket Board is pleased to announce the confirmation of squads and fixtures for the 2025 Senior Women's Inter-County Tournament, which will be contested across both 50 overs and T20 formats. The tournament will be administered by the GCB Women Cricket Committee, chaired by Mr. Sean Messiah, as part of the board's strengthened commitment to the development of women's cricket nationwide. This year marks a historic moment for women's cricket in Guyana, as the inter-county structure will feature a Hinterland All-Stars women's team for the first time in its history. This inclusion reflects the wider national vision championed by His Excellency President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, who continues to prioritize expanding access to sport and opportunities for athletes across regions 1 to 10. The GCB fully embraces this mandate, ensuring that cricket reaches every community, coastland and hinterland alike. Team Ghana will be led by West Indies player Casey Schultz, while Babis will be led by the experienced Shanita Grimond. Essequibo will be led by Lorene Williams, and the Hinterland All-Stars will be led by Radhika Wilson, as the action in the 50 overs tournament is scheduled to commence on Friday, with Demerara taking on Essequibo at the LBI ground and the Hinterland All-Stars versus Berbice at the Lusignan ground. Finally, in cricket, the West Indies officially declared on 346 for 5 when action resumed in their 2-day warm-up match against New Zealand Select 11 at the Bird Sutcliffe Oval in Lincoln on Wednesday. When New Zealand responded, they were bowled out for 264 in 73.4 overs. Cameron Paul top scored with 91 from 135, and Mohammad Abbas played well for 61 from 115, as Johan Lane was the pick of the bowlers for the West Indies with 3 for 33, and both Jamel Warrican and Kaveem Hodge picked up 2 wickets. The West Indies are expected to face New Zealand in the first of 3 test matches commencing on December 1st at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblett, reminding you to stay in the game.
Construction wall erected in busy STABROEK shopping area. Vendors say they were not informed, forced to relocate. Vendors will not be displaced, as local government ministry, as Mayor of Georgetown says the project caught him off guard. RDC chairpersons and vice chairpersons take the oath of office. License suspension looms for drivers with unpaid speeding tickets. And in sport, GCB announces squad and fixtures for 2025 Senior Women's Inter-County Tourney. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.